Welcome back to One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. I am Michael Legan, and I got you covered with the latest headlines. Let's start off on the gridiron, where we have a lot happening in the NFL. Friday morning, it was announced that the Houston Texans have released star defensive end J.J. Watt. In a video posted to his Twitter account, Watt said, quote, "I have sat down with the McNair family, and I've asked them for my release, and we have mutually agreed to part ways at this time," unquote. The move comes amid reported unrest within the Texans organization. Chris, Kayla, there's a lot going on with this team. Obviously, this Watt was a star for them for years. Your thoughts on this move?
Yeah, I mean, J.J. Watt is just a legend at his position, and I'm curious to see where he goes. I don't know really the early reports, but it seemed like this was mutual. It seemed like this was done respectfully and, credit there, whereas the Deshaun Watson saga is dragging on a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is not great necessarily for Deshaun Watson. I think that this is more reason for him to want out now that they've released J.J. Watt, who is such an incredible piece of player for their team. And so I think that this only shows the discomfort that is going on within the Texans organization. And so I think that while it was fine and it seemed very respectful and J.J. Watt made it sound like it was a nice split, I think that underneath the surface, there's probably a lot more going on there.
Yeah, I would just say, we've been here. First off, this move shouldn't be a surprise, I think, to most of us. We've known for a few weeks now, guys, that Watt, it was reported that he already requested a release a few weeks ago. So now it's official. He's moved out.
Right.
But the Texans organization, look, Chris, you and I are Jeff fans, and, we hear about the Lions. We've heard about the Browns for years. But the Texans are approaching a status as maybe the worst organization in football. Look at their head coaching search. The fact that they had to get a guy in David Culley who, frankly, was no one else's radar simply because no one else wanted the job. Eric Bieniemy, who Deshaun Watson was begging them to interview. Depends on who you believe, whether or not they wanted him or he didn't want them. Bottom line is they get a guy in Culley who's, there's a reason why no one else wanted him, is what I'm going to say. The guy does not have – he's been around the league for a while. I wish him success, but the organization is just a joke right now. And also, with we're going to get into it a little bit with Deshaun Watson, but this is coming off the heels of DeAndre Hopkins leaving. This is coming off the heels of Andre Johnson, who never uses social media, bashing the organization publicly. It is a dumpster fire down in Houston right now.
It is, and the thing is that I don't know that the Jets are so far off from that. They have a similar level of incompetency there, but somehow we're able to draw one of the top coaches on the circuit this year, which is almost surprising to me that Robert Saleh said, "I want to coach the Jets," because I would almost put them in the same you certainly have to put them in the same category as the Texans. But I agree with you, Mike, that they are on that level of Browns and Lions failure and competency, just cultural breakdown. But then again, are the Jets that far off from that conversation either? I don't think so.
I would say that, right now, I think, look, we've suffered through a lot of years. The Jets are not it starts from the top down. And the Johnsons have not been good owners, to be frank, and Christopher Johnson especially. I was never a fan of Woody, but he set a new bar for lows, essentially. But I will say this, having Joe Douglas, we're kind of, we're fucking with the Jets here real quick, but I think the difference is, the Jets have a GM now in Joe Douglas, who is well respected around the league. And look at the Texans, a guy in Jack Esterby, who's their, one of their senior guys. The man has worked his way up from being a chaplain in the NFL. I don't know if you guys are aware of this.
I did not.
So Esterby actually started off in the Patriots organization as the team chaplain or something along those lines. Came to the Texans, if I'm not mistaken, in a similar role, and essentially has sweethearted his way up the ranks of the organization. And this is a guy. Look, I this is kind of going off the top of my head right now, but I remember reading an article about it. He is not qualified whatsoever to be a top executive for the Houston Texans. If you recall. They hired an outside firm to compile a list of GM candidates for the team. And essentially, Cal McNair has Esterby in his ear, and they threw that list out the window, and they just completely ignored all the research they were doing. This guy it seems to me like a snake oil salesman. And if we're looking at the Jets.
Well, the Jets have done the same thing. They've brought out outside consultants.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is we're seeing that unfold right now with the Texans. And we know that this is just a huge issue right now.
Well, the outside consultant thing doesn't work because the Jets have tried it. That's that's some consultant told them they should hire Adam Gase. So
well, the consultant
Peyton
was Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning also told them that, but it was a consultant. Actually, it was the
McCagnon hire. Charlie Casserly,
right?
Who while we're listening to him, the guy's 100 years old.
The Green Bay guy, right?
Been out of the league. I think he also was Washington too, if I'm not mistaken. You know, he has a connection with McCagnon, so of course he got fired. But we're losing track here. But Kayla, any last thoughts on the Watt move before we get into our next headline?
I think it would be interesting where he goes. He could go to the Steelers because that's where his brothers are.
Yeah, I think TJ actually tweeted about it.
Are there. So I think that would be a fun family dynamic.
I wouldn't want to be playing the Steelers. I wouldn't want to be the Browns, put it that way. With both Watt brothers coming off the edge. That's a little terrifying.